Everybody's focused on ETFs and meme coins, but there's a real play going on here, and that play is stablecoins. Guys, gals, this is a $150 billion market cap right now, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 cryptos that I think could explode over the coming months. Let's get into it. So I've been actually in DeFi since 2020, and stablecoins have been a huge part of decentralized finance. But now we're about to get some real legitimacy in this that could send the stablecoin markets screaming up. And I'm not talking about like here USDC or USDT. You know, while these are huge in terms of market cap, they're not going to pay you anything. There's no, stock that you can buy yet. USDC is coming out with one potentially here in the next few years. USDT, probably not going to. They love keeping all of their money. They love their privacy. But there's basically a holdup going on right now that I believe is going to change come this September. But once this happens, once this stablecoin regulation is unleashed, guys, gals, the US dollar is going to flourish. How do I know? I've been all over the world. I've been to places where there is hyperinflation, such as Argentina, Lebanon, Turkey, and you've all heard about, what's going on in Venezuela with their hyperinflation. People want their stable coins. And so this is going to allow the US dollar to circulate throughout the world, even in places where there's pesos or dinars or whatever, and people are going to be able to take advantage of the stability of the dollar. So let's take a look at an article from March 13th. I know it's a little old, but this is stating basically the U.S. Senate Banking Committee elected to advance guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins under the Genius Act in an 18-6 vote. This is big. Now, who was the one that actually ended up not voting for it? Senator Elizabeth Warren, which, she's just notorious for being against anything pro-crypto. Check this out, though. The Senate Chairman, Tim Scott, the Genius Act establishes common sense rules that require stablecoin issuers to maintain reserves backed one-to-one, comply with anti-money laundering laws, and ultimately protect American consumers while protecting the U.S. dollar's strength in the global economy. Guys, gals, while China right now is selling all of their U.S. bonds, there's going to be another sector buying them. And how are these stablecoins going to be backed? With interest-bearing bonds, 1-to-1. This is going to be massive. A lot of it will probably be short-term bonds just so that they can have it liquid in case there's a run. But still, this is massive for the US dollar. Now, what are some of the cryptos that I'm looking at? The first one is the biggest one. Now, I'm going from the biggest to the smallest because I believe that I'm going to go from the ones that have the least amount of upside to the ones that have the most amount of upside. Now, the first one is Ripple. Now, why do I think this Ripple has the least amount of upside? It's because it's already very high up there. I could be wrong. XRP Army, all right? So don't hate. You guys could go into the, $150 trillion, which is more than everything is worth in the world. But I do believe that it'll grow incrementally, all right? Like RLUSD is not going to come out all of a sudden one day, but the stablecoin for Ripple, which already follows all of the guidelines for regulation, is RLUSD. And this is Ripple's stablecoin that they've already launched. And, it is one of the most compliant tokens in the world. Now, Ripple has its own DeFi protocol called XRP Ledger that still really hasn't launched. I think it's kind of like in a beta. It's just not, nobody's really using it right now. But I am anticipating using this very soon. I want to be teaching it to you all. But this is definitely going to be big just because the XRP army is massive. Like, for those of you that are XRP haters, like I used to be one, I would not turn an eye to XRP because of their sheer community. They are huge. These guys are massive and they are crushing. All right. Like in terms of their conviction, you ain't seen nothing like this. Now, here's the thing in XRPL. They only have about 80 million in total value locked, which is really not that much, especially considered that, Ripple is so huge. Now, it hasn't really launched, so it is kind of big comparatively, but I want to see the actual real value where, you know, retail starts to pile into this and they start yield farming, they start borrowing and lending. That's going to be really cool. I want to see this up and running. But once it does, I think RLUSD is going to be flourishing, and, you know, XRP is going to be the crypto to speculate on this. Now, the next one is Frax. Frax has been one that I've been talking about for a very long time. The devs here just have tremendous conviction. They're some of the smartest devs. They are OG DeFi. These guys like have come up with some of the most innovative stuff that I've ever seen in regards to DeFi. You know, they've got about 1.9 billion in total value locked, which is massive, massive, massive. They have their own blockchain. And they have some really cool things like borrowing and lending. And this is their stablecoin, their prior stablecoin. So Legacy Frax, they just recently changed it to Frax USD so that people understood what Frax was. Like, Frax is a stablecoin. It has never come depegged from USDC, which is what it was backed by. But this new Frax USDC is backed 1-to-1 by dollars, which is really cool. And you're going to start to see, you know, some more really, really juicy stuff here with Frax USD where you can earn interest. These guys have some amazing things. They have their own decentralized exchange, obviously. They have their own yield farming where they're just crushing with the yield here. They have their own bridge. They have their own blockchain, which is an L2 blockchain built on like using optimism stuff. They have a point system where you can earn more. It looks like FXS at the end of the day. They also have bonds where you can actually come in here and stake to earn a yield. Look at this. You're earning a 4.04% yield on this bond, and you can also yield farm these bonds. So it's not just this 4.04%. You can actually earn more by yield farming it, and I'll show you some examples here in a little bit. Now, the next one is Curve. Now, Curve has its own stable coin as well. It's called Curve USD. But why have I chosen Curve? Curve actually is the largest decentralized exchange for Curve is actually the largest decentralized exchange for stablecoins, and they have been the pioneers for stablecoin swaps. They have a lot of liquidity, and it's the cheapest place that you can swap stablecoins or, you know, even some speculative coins like Bitcoin or ETH into it with the lowest amount of slippage and the best fees. But Curve has definitely been a good one. But the cool thing about Curve is you're able to actually yield farm its token. Now, the only caveat is you need a lot of Curve staked in order to earn their highest amount of fees. But you can see here, like, let's say, for instance, if I wanted to yield farm this one right here, I would basically be only receiving 2.39% as opposed to 5.96% if I had a ton of Curve staked. Now, to get this 5.96% Curve, it's a lot of Curve that I do have to stake. Same thing here. You know, I'm only getting 6.88%, but if I have a ton of Curve staked, I'm earning 17.21%. So this is a good way, a good place where people can actually earn Curve and make lots of money. And Curve's got, you know, $2.5 billion still in total value locked. And as you can see here, it's starting to really tick up in terms of that. At one point in time, it had like $24 billion in total value locked. And I think we could see this happening here again in the future once stablecoins become more legitimized. Now, the last one that I think has the most amount of upside is Convex. Now, Convex is very tightly related to Frax. It's very tightly related to Curve. So you can see here what Convex has actually done is they take anybody's Curve that's willing to stake it. They pay them a very, very nice fee for their staking their Curve on Convex, and they pool together the Curve so that everybody can earn this higher yield. And the coolest thing about it is you don't need to lock up your Curve. So you can take your Curve out at any given point in time. Now, you need to stake the Curve on the Ethereum network, but look at some of these APRs. You can see here, they're paying you the max. So right here, 87.65%. This one, I think, was going for like 21% over there. They're paying you 24%. And I think they were only paying you 6.99% if you didn't have Curve. So they're actually earning you more here. Look at this stablecoin pair right here, DUSD. So this is all stablecoins, no impermanent loss, 22% on your dollars. That is killer. But this is a place where you can earn a lot of money. And let's take a look at the charts for all of these so you can see how I'm trading these. Now, before we get into these charts, I need for you all to do me a huge favor. I need for you to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and turn on the notification button, because I'm going to be bringing you lots more info regarding stablecoins, because I think come September, we're going to have stablecoin legislation passed, and this is going to send these coins that are related to stablecoins heavily to the moon. So you don't want to miss out on the next stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So let's get into how I'm trading these. So currently I'm actually sitting in XRP, and this is, I'm at about a 20% gain right now. I'm trading it on gains.trade, and I'm leverage trading it at about a 3x leverage currently. It is above my line. It looks like it's about to break down, but this is definitely one of my conviction coins. It hasn't broken out on the 3-day yet, which a lot of the coins have broken out on the 3-day. But I think it's going to here, and that's probably where I'm going to start to redline this a lot more. Now, Curve has been doing really, really well, and since it's gotten back into a trade here, you can see that it has gone up approximately 34%. So not bad for this short gain that we've had from here to here. Yeah, 35%. If you're leverage trading it, you know, you can go 2x leverage. That could have been a 70% gain from April 9th until now. But this is why you have to really be closely monitoring these cryptos. FXS has definitely done well. It's had a bit of a pullback today. It's up on the 1-day and the 3-day. But even, you know, with its pullback right now, we're still looking at a 20% gain. I'm 4x leveraging this one, but I have been DCAing in as it's been going down, because this is definitely one of my conviction coins. I think FXS has the ability to go up to $100, and we're sitting at $2 right now. So imagine what could happen, or even more. Again, if we get stable coin legislation, these guys have literally been setting up their entire ecosystem around this stablecoin legislation. They're one of the few stablecoin providers on chain that are truly decentralized, and I really look forward to seeing how this one does. Let's take a look if Frax just goes. Now, let's take a look if Frax just goes to from where it's at today, which is about 220, all the way up to its all-time highs. You're looking at a 1900% gain. All right, this is massive, massive, massive. It went up to about $45. It may have spiked up a little bit higher. I remember it being $50, but let's say around that. That's a 19x return, which is massive, massive, massive. Now, let's say, for instance, if it were to go up to $100, let's take this and go all the way to about $100 right here. That would be, if we were to go back to the all-time highs of FXS, we'd be looking at more or less like a 190x return. Okay, 190x return. That's massive. Now, let's say if this thing were to blast up to $100, which is where I think it definitely could hit, especially if we have stablecoin regulation. Look at this. You're talking about a 430x return. Now, times that by 2 or 3, like what we're teaching you in with using like protocol like gains. I mean, this could be an 800 or 1000x return if we hit those levels. So you definitely want to be paying attention to this one. Let's take a look at Convex. So Convex, where it's at, it's also blasted through. It's done really well. All right. Now, it's your entry. If I were you, I would probably be watching my entry here, but this thing definitely could blast. You know, we got in about right here to about right here. That's a 42% return. Now, let's say we just go back to where its all-time highs were. This is even bigger than FXS. Now, the reason I think FXS is going to do better in the long run is because FXS has more involved in stablecoins. Like, this is basically a service that they're providing so that you get more yield on your curve. But even so, with Convex, look at this. You're looking at a 190x return. Again, same thing. This is a massive return that you could be taking advantage of. Guys, gals, if you want to be early, not late, to where the money is moving in 2005, smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification button so you get notified every single time we have a video coming out. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about which stable coins are the most resilient and which ones are secretly dying. So you want to stay away from those ones. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.